If you think you've had a chance of getting Hep C, you can go and get a blood test from your doc.
How you going? Yeah. How come you've come in today? What are you wanting to talk about?
My ear.
Okay. Had a recent piercing?
Yeah, we did the piercing at my house. My friends came over, my cousins.
Yeah. We don't encourage home piercing anymore because we know that viruses can get spread quite easily when there's blood around and people aren't sterilising equipment. So we always encourage people to find a practitioner, so a licensed tattooist or a licensed person that does piercing and things like that. And then we can make sure that they've got all the right sterilising equipment and things like that. And that's probably why I encourage you to get a test today, because even though I'm not overly worried about you, we don't know for sure whether you've been exposed to anything unless we do these tests. Yeah?
Yep.
Before you get tested for hepatitis C, the doctor, nurse or health worker should have a chat to you. And this is to find out whether you know what you're getting tested for and how the results of that test might affect you. And also we need to find out whether you're ready to get this test done today. This is what we call informed consent, and informed consent must be gained before we do a test like this. During this chat, we should find out what you know about hepatitis C, how it might be affecting your health. We can find out whether you're worried or not, and if you do have some worries or concerns, we're here to support you. During this time, we can also find out what support you've got and maybe help you find some support, more support, whether that's with friends, families or other health services. Results are talked through with you face to face and never over the phone. Let's go and see what getting a test looks like. Well, with hepatitis C, we have to do a few different tests. Initially, we do an antibody test, and an antibody test is where we look for the white blood cells that you produce against the virus to fight the virus off. So we would do an antibody test, and if that was positive, then we would do further testing to see whether the virus is there. And the test that looks for the virus is called a PCR test, which is, you know, a modern complicated test, but the result tells us whether the virus is still there or not. Because many people actually clear the virus, and in that case they would be PCR negative. But if someone's PCR positive, we know that the virus is still around, and then we might have a look at what the genotype is or what strain of the virus is present, because that will tell us information about how we might treat the virus. When we talk about genotypes, we're talking about different strains of the hepatitis C virus. We might use, an example is that there are dogs, but there are different types of dogs, like there's a Labrador or something like that. And so with hepatitis C, there's different types of hepatitis C that exist, and they are all treated differently. That's the most important thing that we need to know.
All this waiting around for your test results can be tough. If you need to yarn about what's going on, you can talk with your health worker or your doctor. There's also the Hep C Infoline you can call. The thing is, you can't always tell if someone has Hep C because they don't have any signs, but some people can feel pretty yuck. You can get a sore tummy, have muscles that hurt, feel like when you've got a cold or you feel tired. You might be all sweaty at night. You might have trouble drinking grog and not be hungry. You could get stuck on the toilet. Sometimes some of our mob who have Hep C can feel a bit sad and forget stuff. But people often don't notice any symptoms for many years and only find out that they have Hep C after a blood test.
So I'll send these off, and then we should get them back in 3 or 4 days, so we can make an appointment for you to come back in and see Kim or I.
As time goes on, some people might not have any liver sickness. Some might have a little bit, and some can get some scarring that can make your liver pretty sick. If we take 100 people with Hep C after 40 years, 45 of them may have no liver damage, 30 may have growing liver damage, 20 may develop cirrhosis, which is scarring of the liver, and 5 may get cirrhosis, followed by liver failure or liver cancer. Cirrhosis, or scarring of the liver, happens when the liver is trying to repair the damage caused by poisons or viruses like Hep C. It's a bit like if you cut or burn your skin. When the wound heals, you get a scar. If it becomes really scarred, It stops doing all the great things that it usually does, like cleaning your blood. But hey, having Hep C is not the end of the world. It doesn't mean you're going to die. Some mob just have to make a few changes to keep their liver well. It's always good to have someone to talk to about your Hep C. Your doc or someone from your local health service is a great place to start. The best thing you can do for yourself is listen to your body. Don't ignore your Hep C and go to the doc. It's also a good idea to see a liver specialist. You can do this by getting a referral from your GP. Sometimes you might see one at a hospital. Looking after yourself and having your liver looked at can help you make choices, especially about taking on treatment. Your doctor can give you a referral to a liver clinic. There they can do some tests and see how your liver is and give you some pointers on how to look after yourself. Too much grog is one of the biggest issues for people living with Hep C. You can improve your chances of living well and long with Hep C if you cut down on the grog as much as you can. Have a yarn with your doc or health worker and they can help you figure out how to cut down. If you feel like your life is out of control, your local health service may be able to help with any legal, housing, financial or other issues that are causing you stress. When you're feeling good, your health can be better. Eating healthy helps. So it's good to eat less fats and salt, but eat lots of fruit, veggies and fresh foods. Being overweight or eating lots of salty, fatty food can put stress on your liver. Being very overweight has been shown to reduce your chance of clearing Hep C if you want to have treatment. Exercising helps out your health. You could think about going for a 30-minute fast walk. It can help give you more energy, especially when you're feeling tired, as a lot of people with Hep C get. Being a healthy weight is also good to keep the liver well. Spending time yarning and doing fun stuff with family and friends and people who support you can help both your mental and physical health and make you feel good. Getting a shot for Hep A and B is a good idea too. Smoking, it's not great for the health. You might want to think about cutting back or quitting. May help you feel better. These are lots of ideas and plenty for you to think about. Don't try to do it all at once. You might want to start by going for a 10-minute walk each day or cooking a meal at home instead of getting fast food. And over time, these little changes can lead to big improvements in your health.